Friday. Dunkin' Donuts coffee isn't too bad without sugar in it.
Hey guys, Anthony here. Welcome. Again, it's Sunday, January 20th, 2019. The purpose of today's video, I did one earlier on my battle rifle. I want to continue on the heels of that, just a second. One of the things I'm doing today is just monitoring my 2-meter radio, 70 centimeter radio for local channels, just seeing what's going on. There's some bad weather headed our way here in the Charlotte area. We're supposed to get a deep freeze tonight, where other parts of the country, you guys know, the storm Harper is dumping snow and ice and wind and rain and tornadoes and what have you on different parts of the country. So if you're in a part of the country that's getting hit with that, you know, it's best to stay inside, stay safe, don't do anything stupid. If you prepared ahead of time, you'll be fine. Don't worry about milk, eggs, and bread. Worry about long-term stuff. Don't go to the store and get in a fight over a bottle of water or a dozen eggs. Shame on you if you're a prepper and you're doing that. Find yourself in that situation. Very bad situation to be in. And so in today's video, I want to talk about a little bit about the shutdown. I mentioned it yesterday in my quick video from the gym about what's going on. If this turns out to be a long-term shutdown, we can expect, and we will expect, lots of things to take place. You know, things like people not getting benefits, certain benefits that they get each and every month. I'm sure you guys have seen videos on YouTube on that. I watched one this morning, a good one that a gentleman put out. I think it's Delaware Prepper. I'll put his link in the description box. He did a great video on just overall prepping, being aware of what's going on, and if you're caught in a situation where you need to get home. He made a lot of good points, and a lot of the points he made I make in my videos as well, that I've done, because I fall into the category of someone that travels every day away from home in a most of the time in a company vehicle or in my van. If I'm not in my van is like a battleship. My van is like a giant go bag on wheels, but I don't always have my van. Many times it's home, and that's good. My wife has access to it if she needs it, and other people that I know in the area have access to it if they need it. But when I'm away in the company vehicle, I have another version, a smaller version of my van, not necessarily a battleship, maybe an escort ship or a destroyer, and those items in that vehicle are able to sustain me to get me back home, or to sustain me in a prolonged outing where I'm maybe living out of the vehicle, or stranded at work and living from work and going back and forth from the building to the vehicle to get stuff that I need to stay hunkered down until it's safe to try to get home. And so I want to do another video on that particular bag that's in my vehicle. That's I guess you'd call it it's a get home bag. It's enough to get me from where I work to home that I estimate will take me 2, possibly 3 days. So the items in that bag will sustain me or get me to where I'm going in 2 to 3 days. Okay, so that's what you want to think when you're in putting together something. And not to get into bags right now, but there's also some key items you want to have while we're talking about storms and things in your car that you could take with you that you need to have in touch with the outside world. This is a weather radio, also AM/FM radio. It also has the GMRS, FRS frequencies on it.
A wind advisory means that gusty winds can.
So with this radio, once it's charged, this thing stays going for a long time. I could take this with me. It's waterproof. I could hear what's going on in the outside world. I could even make some contacts on here with some local FRS, GMRS radios. I have two of these. You've seen these in other videos. Another option is to have in your car, which I think is probably one of the best, like, bug out bag radios just to hear what's going on in the outside world, and that's the GP5DSP radio. Again, it's by CountyCom. It's got a nice antenna, AM/FM, shortwave, really nice and compact. Runs on batteries. You can take it with you, put it in your bag, and you've got at least the ability to listen to what's going on around you. Things like headlamps, fire kits. While we're on the subject of fire kits, my wife has recently taken up sewing again, which she did years ago. She bought herself a great machine. She takes classes now once a week at Hobby Lobby, and she's just going ballistic on putting stuff together. I mean, she's making clothes, she's making aprons. She started making these pouches, and when I saw her constructing one, I said, can you make me a pouch? Because now she's learning how to do zippers. So I said, can you make me a pouch with a zipper, a small enough, you know, like this, like maybe 6x9, to make a fire kit? And so she put this together yesterday and threw it on the table. It's like amazing. This thing is fantastic. She had some camo material. She's learning all the different types of stitching, putting in zippers. So now I bought, yesterday we bought some high visibility orange material. She's going to make me another one out of orange. I'm going to put a little patch on it with a fire thing on it and use that for fire, and maybe use this for something else. But she's taking up sewing, which is a great addition to my prepping, because I could request repairs, I could request things like this, and she makes them with no problem. So things like that you want. These help you. Why I bring this up is they help you organize things in your bug out bag. So this could be for you know, cables and wires and rechargeable things, or maybe some batteries. The other one that's orange could be for fire, where you can reach in your pack and just grab it out. You know, if you got to make a fire or do something, get your lighter, everything's in there. So that's that. Medical, also a big deal. Things like these little trauma packs, being able to stop blood, have a Band-Aid, some gauze, some duct tape, some things to stop something if you cut yourself or get a wound. Something like this is great to have in your get-home bag. Things like the hyphen vent chest seals, okay, entry, exit wound chest seals. This is a 2-pack here. Another important thing to have. And these nasopharyngeal airways, again, are good to have, but you got to know how to use them. I need to learn how to use this, but I do stock these, and I do get them along with the hyphen vent chest seals, because I do have people close to me that are in the medical field, that have been trauma nurses and are trauma nurses now, and they know how to use this stuff. So by me stocking it, they could help use it as well, or teach us how to use it as well. So getting back to, oh, one other thing. I know I'm jumping around here in this video, guys, but I want to try to include some things in it that are, you know, that make sense and are practical. In keeping with your firearm, your AR-15. Now, I'm not a gunsmith, but I know that simple little things like an extractor spring that's bad, or something, a pin that's bad that holds things together, or a little O-ring that you might need to make extraction more reliable on your weapon. So, you know, a kit like this, BCM, Bravo Company, Spring Upgrade Kit 3-pack for your ARs. Again, having stuff like this in stock or changing it out in your rifle is priceless to have when you need it. You don't want to need this in a battle situation or a bad situation, SHTF situation, and you can't get one of these. So you want to have it in stock now. They don't cost a lot. Get them, throw them in your kit, your toolbox, and you've got these things at the ready. That's why I spent so much time on this. It doesn't look like I did, but I spent time and thought into this, that I wanted something simple, not a lot of stuff hanging off the rifle, but stuff that fit me in the situation that I think I'm going to be in an SHTF. So getting back to the shutdown. What's it, almost 3+ weeks we've been in it. I watched a video this morning talking about that Donald Trump President Trump might be doing this particular thing in order to decrease the size of the government and decrease the size of those within the government in the deep state that are blocking a lot of what he wants to do for the American people, a lot of stuff he promised to do. And so this is one way, after a certain amount of time, he could deem these people, lay them off, and they could lose their jobs. And I think it's a great idea if that's what he's doing. You guys could weigh in whether you think it's a good idea or not. But in a time like this, where for 2+ years now since he's been in office, it's been a non-stop barrage of a coup or coup-like activities that have been going on. So at some point, or maybe he's been doing it all along, we don't know. At some point you have to fight back. I mean, the person in office has to fight back against this, especially now that he is asking for a minuscule amount of money to do something he promised, and to do something the American people pretty much by and large support. I mean, common sense, building a barrier to protect our country is a good idea. I think there should be one on both borders. If you ask me directly, there should be a wall on both borders, and we should be protected from enemies, foreign and domestic, coming in and out of the country, spreading disease, spreading crime, spreading hate, spreading values and morals that are against what we stand for. But again, with all these people that have been coming in over the years, they've already saturated our country with, or infiltrated our country to the point now where we're basically at a point where it's coming to a head. There's these people here that believe that we should, that stand for, let's say, liberty, justice for all, and there's these people here that want to see us mold into something, some form of chaos, resembling maybe Venezuela or Cuba or some of these other countries around the world that are teetering on the brink of extinction as a sovereign nation. So there's these people that want that and that think that's going to be a great idea, and then there's the people here, this is the side I fall on, that want liberty, justice, that want our country protected, that want bad guys caught and captured and kicked out, that want to protect their families, that care about life and liberty, versus these people that basically care about their stomachs. They care about greed. They care about what they've been bred for years to believe by people, by teachers, by society, by following the wrong path, the wrong way. And they want our country going down this road. And so, with all that going on, the overarching question is, who's in control? In yesterday's video, I talked about who's in control. God is in control. Yahweh is in control. The one true God, Yahweh. Many people will talk to you about God, but when you mention Yahweh, the God of the Bible, and his son Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, whom he sent to save the world and who he will send to judge the world, okay, and who he created the world and the universe through. That's the God I'm talking about, okay? Not the God that some person will just talk to you about, and as soon as you mention the defining line and you draw the line with Jesus Christ, the conversation usually changes. Oh, how could you be so narrow-minded and bigoted and this and that? Well, if you're a student of history, he proved who he was. I didn't see Muhammad do that. I didn't see Buddha do that. I didn't see the 280 million Hindu gods do that. I didn't see the God of Jehovah Witnesses do that. And I haven't seen the God of the Mormons do that. Okay, so when you look at belief systems, look at it in a rational way. Do your due diligence. Look and read history. Read the Bible. It is a history book also. Read the other books on other religions as well, and then compare them and make your own decision. But the evidence is overwhelming that Jesus Christ did exist. He did die, suffer, and die. He did rise again. Many people saw him. Many hundreds of people saw him and were witness to it. And non-biblical writers also wrote about him. Okay, so when you look at the evidence, it's far overwhelming that this man, Jesus Christ, God in the flesh, did come, did suffer, did die, did prove who he was. He did enable and give us the ability to live with him forever by repenting and accepting him as Lord and Savior. Okay? And so, not making this a Bible study, I just want to give a little bit of background on the judgment fact that's coming. God has never, he's never at rest. He's never aloof to what's going on. He's the first and the last, the beginning and the end. He knows everything. Nothing takes him by surprise. So the shutdown isn't taking him by surprise. These countries around the world, in France, and where these people are rising up against what seemingly is oppression on them, are rising up all around because the system that's being formed right now is anti-Christ. It's anti-Christ. And we're seeing it here in our country. This isn't we're not isolated. This is a worldwide events that are going on that have been predicted biblically. And that's why it all ties in. It's not just the shutdown. It's not just the deep state. It's not just the coup. It's everything. You have to look at everything. And even your prepping won't save you 100% in the end. You have to think biblically. Think out of the box. Think eternal. This is what the deep state wants you to do. They want to scare you. There's no way out. The country's falling apart. There's no chance. Yes, there is a chance. God can relent from judgment. He can relent from judgment. He relented in Nineveh. He relented in Nineveh. They were sinning like crazy, just like we are today in this country. Sinning like crazy. And it came up to him. And who'd he send? Jonah there. Jonah turned it down in disobedience. But then again, later on, turned to obedience. Went there, delivered the message. The people heard the message, including the leader, repented. God relented. And the judgment did not fall on Nineveh. But then again, 150 years later, zoom forward to the book of Nahum, and now judgment falls on Nineveh because they turned their backs again on Yahweh. So that's where we are in this country. That's why I mentioned it yesterday. This is a biblical thing that's happening. It's biblical. Biblical proportions. We're witnessing in our life, and the living, breathing people right now, biblical truth coming to life. Things can turn out better for us. We don't have to put up with what's going on. We can support the president, even though he may not be right 100% of the time, but we can support him because most of the people, he's doing the work that most of the people elected him to do in this country. And then there's those that are going against him and going against them. Basic principles that say a country cannot exist. A country cannot exist by just letting people in. I couldn't exist just letting people in my door who I don't know to run the roost of my house and then give them everything I have and expect to live long after that, or expect to have what I have. Private property, access to services, medical care, Social Security, benefits that are entitled to Americans that work and pay taxes. It's common sense, people. It's common sense. But yet there's others that'll go to their deathbed thinking that their way is the right way, that socialism is the right way, that having some kind of earthly king is the right way, where maybe Barack Obama was the picture of that king in their minds. Following an earthly person, which most people will do in the end times. They'll follow this person that's energized by Satan, and they'll follow him right to hell. And the stage is being set for that to happen, and many people are in hell right now and they don't even realize it. But you don't have to be. And I want to hear your comments today. Not only on biblical things, maybe you don't read the Bible, maybe you're just thinking like an average American thinks that, it's just stupid to let the country fall for a minuscule amount of money. The budget's $4 trillion or so. He's asking for $5 billion. That's, less than a percentage of the overall budget. What's the problem? The problem is there's a coup going on. There's a shit at the fan situation going on. There's a civil unrest going on. There's bubbling and boiling below the surface right now, and it's getting ready to explode. That's what's going on. And that's what you have to be prepping for. And that's what you have to be ready for. You might be at work when it happens. You might be out to dinner when it happens. You might be home when it happens. But something's going to happen. Whether it's a false flag, whether it's some kind of attack, whether it's an economic collapse, whether it's what I believe might happen is some type of cyber attack on systems, where they could blame it on China or Russia or another country, and then get their way. So be vigilant, be smart, stay safe, stay ready at all times for what's coming. And understand this, no matter what, Yahweh is in control. If we receive judgment for not listening and obeying His word, then so be it. We'll suffer the consequences. It's happened time and time again to Israel over the years, over the centuries. Disobedience brought God's judgment. Obedience, the remnant was saved, the country prospered, and it's a cycle. It's a cycle, but it doesn't have to be. We could be obedient as a nation. We can turn and relent like Nineveh did. We could turn and repent like Nineveh did, and God can relent from the judgment that's waiting for us. And if you don't think there's judgment waiting, just yesterday or the day before, maybe it was Friday, a group of pastors got together in California and prayed over a Planned Parenthood facility that was getting ready to murder babies, and they blessed it. They gave it their blessing. They gave it their blessing. Let that sink in for a minute of how far we've fallen. And if you think we're this uppity Christian nation that follows God's word to the letter, that follows Torah to the letter, think again. And with that alarm going off, I'll close this video. Stay ready. Let me hear your comments, guys. Anthony signing off.
Their keys in the car. It's going to be an employee. It's a blue-gray Chevrolet